Hey, what's going on, folks? Welcome back to another edition of Pro Wrestling Talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram, coming at you here once again to the U to the 2. So, WrestleMania 38, night number 2, is officially in the books. And just want to go back through, do a quick recap, give my thoughts on the matches from night 2. So let's go ahead and get started. WrestleMania 38, night number 2, started off with the Raw Tag Team Championships on the line as the champs, RK Bro, defended against the Street Profits and Alpha Academy in a triple threat. You know what? I gotta be honest. This was actually a pretty good starter match to the show. I thought this was a good match. You know, not too bad. Very action packed from all three teams. Really liked the spot seeing both Riddle and Randy Orton do the rope hung DDTs together, so I thought that was really cool. I liked the spot with the Street Profits doing their old tag team finisher that they used to do from back when they were in NXT, so I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, I thought overall it was a pretty dang on good match. I really liked the RKO counter that Randy Orton did. Thought that was really cool. But I have to say, this was actually, it wasn't really a match I was excited for, but I thought the quality of the match was actually pretty good. And sure enough, RK Bro retained the Raw Tag Team Championships. So, thought overall it was a pretty dang on good match. So afterwards, the Street Profits came into the ring with some extra Dixie cups and gave them to RK Bro, and they poured them. I don't know if that was just water or liquor. It was probably just water into their cups, and they were gonna do a toast together. But of course, Chad Gable came in. Actually, they invited Gable Steveson into the ring to join in their toast, and then as they were getting ready to do the toast, Chad Gable comes in, knocks Gabe Stevenson's cup out of his hand. Gabe takes his shirt off and pretty much levels Chad Gable. Ended up hitting him with a very nicely executed overhead belly to belly suplex. Thought it was really good. Had nice height on that overhead belly to belly. So thought that was cool. Thought that was really cool. And yeah, we just got a little taste, just a little taste of Gable Steveson. Hopefully now that this WrestleMania is in the books, we can look forward to see him finally make his debut on Raw. So should be good. And they had their toast outside of the ring after that segment. But I thought overall the match was pretty good. It was a pretty good opening match. So, kudos to RK Bro, the Street Profits, and Alpha Academy. That was a good opening match. I can't really complain. I can't really complain about that match. I thought that was a pretty good overall match. Okay, next up, we had Bobby Lashley versus Omos. I kept saying for a long while that if Bobby Lashley lost, I was done. I was just completely done. Like, period. But thankfully, thank God, Bobby Lashley was able to pull it off and defeat Omos. It took a bit, and they had to make Omos look strong as usual. But after getting in some offense and Lashley finding his groove, was not only able to suplex him, but was also able to give him a nice, good match-finishing spear. And Bobby Lashley pins Omos, giving him his first singles loss. So, definitely kudos to Bobby Lashley. Definitely the right call. He almost hooked the Hurt Lock on Omos. He almost had it hooked in, but yeah. Overall, the match was okay. I mean, it could have been better, but I mean, we got what we got. Main thing is Lashley won. So overall, I'm happy at that, because if Omos ended up winning, I would have been done. I would have like stopped watching WWE for like at least a month, because that would have been just straight up trash if Omos won. But thankfully he didn't. Thank God he didn't. So congratulations to Bobby Lashley. Okay, next up we had, oh my goodness, we had the comic relief match, the anything goes match. Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. And I mean, while I wasn't really looking forward to this match, I have to admit there were some pretty funny moments in this match. I mean, you had the Jackass crew there as well. I mean, you had Chris Pontius, the party guy doing the dancing. You had Wee Man, who Wee Man ended up dang on body slamming Sami Zayn. Like, Wee Man, he got his shots in and even body slammed the dude. And of course, there were a lot of different things used. Trash can symbols, a stun gun, fire extinguisher. We got to see a table full of mouse traps stuck to it. We got to see a big, gigantic mouse trap. We even got to see the big, gigantic hand that just smacks Sami Zayn. We got to see that. And pretty much just the rest of the Jackass crew getting involved. Like I said, Wee Man had a good showing, body slamming Sami Zayn. But I mean, like I said, overall it was the comedy relief match. And while I'm not a fan of the idea behind this match, there were some funny moments. There were some pretty funny moments. I will give it that. But sure enough, Johnny Knoxville got the victory. Hit the mousetrap, the big gigantic mousetrap onto Sami Zayn, and covered him afterwards. 1, 2, 3. Johnny Knoxville wins at WrestleMania. Poor Sami Zayn. Poor Sami Zayn. Got beat by somebody that wasn't even a wrestler, but Johnny Knoxville got his WrestleMania victory, got his payday, so I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, there were a few funny moments in the match, but not really a match that I was hyped about or really interested in. But it had its moments. It had its moments. I was kind of wondering if Steve-O was possibly going to make an appearance, but I guess, with him, from what I've heard, is not in the most recent Jackass movie, so I don't know. I thought it would have had a really nice effect if Steve-O was there, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But next up, we had the Women's Tag Team Championship match. We had the champs, Queen Zelina and Carmella, defend against Sasha Banks and Naomi, Shayna Baszler and Natalya, and Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. Gotta give shout outs to Queen Zelina rocking the Queen of the Damn ring attire. I thought that was pretty cool. She looked great. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan dressed up as Catwoman. I couldn't tell if they were both Catwomen or if one was Batgirl and the other was Catwoman, but that was pretty cool entrance that they had. And then Sasha Banks coming out with I couldn't tell if that was a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. I didn't think they came in green. It was probably a Lambo because I don't think I've ever seen a green Ferrari. But somebody let me know if that was a Ferrari or a Lamborghini. I couldn't see. They didn't really show the front logo too well. I would have caught it, but yeah, came out in a fancy car. Thought that was really cool. But yeah, some pretty cool entrances there. And for the most part, while I wasn't really looking forward to this match, I felt like the ladies did a great job. I mean, there were a few wild spots in this match, but I thought the ladies did a great job. I mean, got to see some really good exchanges, tag team wrestling. And overall, I was very pleased with the outcome. Ladies and gentlemen, a losing streak has finally been broken. Naomi and Sasha Banks hit a really cool double team finisher to get the 1-2-3 to become the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champs. Which also means Sasha Banks has finally gotten a victory at WrestleMania. So I believe this makes her 1-6 or 1-7. But finally, Sasha Banks has won a match at WrestleMania. Thank you, WWE, for finally making this happen. She has been long overdue for a victory at WrestleMania. So I'm really glad that they made this call. Like I said, overall, it was a pretty dang on good match. I did enjoy the match. But I was really happy with the outcome. Very happy. So kudos to WWE for calling that. And Sasha Banks finally got her big WrestleMania moment and got a victory. Her first WrestleMania victory. I hope that next year Asuka will get hers. Because remember, Asuka still hasn't won a match at WrestleMania. So I hope that Asuka is next and she gets her big WrestleMania moment. Because that's really all that Asuka needs for her to really cement her WWE legacy. So here's hoping. And pretty much Sasha Banks has sealed her legacy for the most part. So I think the only thing missing for Sasha Banks now is, win a Royal Rumble. I think once Sasha Banks wins a Royal Rumble, she's pretty much done. Because she's won the other titles. So I think once she wins a Royal Rumble, I think Sasha Banks will pretty much be set in stone. So here's hoping. But great match. Definitely enjoyed it. Happy that Sasha Banks and Naomi won the tag championships, which this makes Naomi a first-time tag team champion, and this makes Sasha Banks a 3-time WWE Women's Tag Team Champion. Because remember, she won it twice with Bayley. So now that I think about it, so this makes her and Nikki ASH the only 2 3-time tag team champions. Now that I think about it, yeah. Because remember, Nikki Ash won it twice with Alexa Bliss, and she won it once with Rhea Ripley. So I think Nikki ASH and Sasha Banks are the only 2 3-time WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. So, hey, That's kind of neat, I guess. I guess. But but yeah, congratulations to Naomi and Sasha Banks, especially Sasha for finally getting that big WrestleMania victory. So definitely enjoyed that. And then next up we had AJ Styles versus Edge. Of course, AJ Styles had a cut on the side of his face, which apparently, from what I've been told, happened during the pyro. I think he got a piece of shrapnel or a piece of pyro that caused the cut on the side of his face. But you had that. You had the really cool entrance for Edge. You know, he's got the new entrance theme. He's got that more dark, like the Ministry of Darkness, the Brood 2.0 sort of vibe to it. Really, really cool entrance. Was pretty much wearing black and purple, just like The Undertaker. But overall, I thought this was a decent match. The pace at certain points was slow and then fast, slow and then fast. It was pretty back and forth. Both these men, you know, were showcased really well. And it was definitely a matchup that I was looking forward to. Personally, I enjoyed this match a little more than I enjoyed Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes in night one, personally. But this was still a good match. And, you know, Edge was hitting a lot of his classic stuff, hitting the education, hitting the Edge-O-Matic, stuff like that. But I really liked the spots that AJ Styles did the springboard 450 splash. Always thought that was really cool to see him do. Saw him bust out the calf crusher. He did hit a Styles clash, but Edge still kicked out. And then when it was all said and when it was all said and done, AJ Styles was getting ready to deliver a phenomenal forearm. And then out of nowhere, the camera cuts to the side, and there's Damian Priest. Just right there outside the ring. Pretty much that distracted AJ Styles for a bit. AJ Styles goes to do the phenomenal forearm, and he eats a spear from Edge midair. And pretty much Edge gets the 1, 2, 3 afterwards. Edge wins. Damian Priest comes in. And he pretty much, they, you know, Tebow together. They kneel down. And it looks like we might be seeing a new Edge-led faction. Starting out with Damian Priest. So Edge and Damian Priest, side by side together. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm curious to see where this goes. But it looks like Edge may be starting up a faction now. Him and Damian Priest. It's intriguing. It's very intriguing. Like, I'm actually looking forward to see where this goes. But overall, it was a pretty good match. It was definitely a pretty good match. It could have been better, but it was a good match. It was definitely a good match. But, yeah, Edge and Damian Priest. Have to see how that goes. That's very intriguing. But yeah, very intriguing. Anyways, let's see. We had the New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Of course, they were accompanied by Pete Dunne. Oh, I'm sorry, Butch. This, honestly, this was a waste of a match. This was a waste of a match. The New Day came down dressed up with Big E attire, you know, tribute. Shout out to Big E. This match did not last long at all. it was pretty much almost a squash, in all honesty. But yeah, had a brogue kick, then you had a northern grit. That was pretty much it. And honestly, just this was definitely the worst match on the card. Definitely the worst match. They would have done a lot better just not letting this match happen. It's really, really bad. You had the New Day, wearing their ring gear, tribute to Big E, who recently suffered that fractured neck at the hands of Ridge Holland. And then I don't think that match even lasted 5 minutes. And then just like that, Sheamus and Ridge Holland beat them. It was a really, really trash match. I mean, it got cut from night one. Honestly, they would have done a lot better if they just taken this match out. Because it was trash. It was trash. It didn't last long. It was trash. It was such a trash match. We had one more segment of The Undertaker coming out to greet the crowd. And then we had Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. Now, this is where things got really, really good and interesting. So, the chairman, Mr. McMahon, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, comes down doing his strut. Comes down to the ring and introduces, a future WWE Universal Champion, Austin Theory. He comes down, he does his entrance, he takes a selfie with Vince McMahon. And then we had Pat McAfee's entrance, which the theme song was Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes. Great song. And he was accompanied by the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, which I find kind of interesting. He also took a football and punted into the crowd. I thought it was kind of interesting because I'm like, what the heck, dude? You got the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. We all know you were a freaking Indianapolis Colts. Like, what the heck? But football is football, I guess. But had a really cool entrance. Didn't have any specific type of fancy ring gear. Just, tank top, black tank top, and some jeans and such. But Mr. McMahon watching at ringside. These two have their match, and once again, Austin Theory, did his thing. He got his shots in, but I was very impressed with Pat McAfee. You could definitely tell he trained up to get ready for this match. That's one thing I will say. Pat McAfee took this seriously, and it showed. He had a great match tonight. I mean, some could say, could wonder who did better, Pat McAfee or Bad Bunny. It's a good argument there. It's a good argument. But Pat McAfee, which, like I said, I thought he did well when he went up against Adam Cole back in NXT. But this was a good match. I definitely liked it. I really liked seeing Pat McAfee's agility showed. I mean, doing the backflip off the turnbuckle, leaping to the top turnbuckle without grabbing anything. I thought that was really cool. And then, doing the superplex, thought was really cool. But yeah, Pat McAfee doing his thing. Looked really, really good. And sure enough, was actually able to roll up Austin Theory to get the 1, 2, 3, and Pat McAfee gets a big victory at WrestleMania. This was only his second match. and he got a big victory at WrestleMania. So kudos to Pat McAfee. He looked good. And honestly, I really didn't have any complaints. I mean, maybe the match could have been a little longer, but honestly, I don't have any complaints. And then the unthinkable happened. This I definitely did not see coming. So Pat's still celebrating in the ring. Vince McMahon goes over to Austin Theory, pretty much ridicules him. And as they were getting ready to leave, Vince McMahon stops. Was looking like he was going to take his jacket off. And then stops again. He takes his jacket off. Unbuttons his shirt and everything. Takes his shirt off. Reveals he has on the black wife beater. And he proceeds to have an official match, referee and all, with Pat McAfee. After he just finished beating Austin Theory, Vince McMahon has an official match with Pat McAfee. Now, let's keep it real. Austin Theory gave quite a bit of assists in this match. But Vince McMahon got in offense and did his thing and pretty much humiliated Pat McAfee. Even taking the football and punting it into his gut. Who would have thought that Vince McMahon would get back in the ring and actually have a match? You gotta remember, Vince McMahon is what, 76, 77 years old? That's an almost 80-year-old man in the ring having an official wrestling match at WrestleMania. It's crazy. It's really crazy. He didn't really take any bumps in this match. But like I said, with the assistance from Austin Theory, and Vince McMahon actually pinned Pat McAfee. Yeah. Vince McMahon beat Pat McAfee at WrestleMania. And him and Austin Theory went to celebrate. And then just out of nowhere, Stone Cold Steve Austin's music hits. He comes down. He pretty much disposes of Austin Theory. They brawled for a bit. Then he hit a stunner on Austin Theory, which he sold the mess out of that stunner. And then afterwards, Vince and Stone Cold toasted, had a beer, of course, until Stone Cold gave Vince McMahon a stunner. It was a very, very botchalicious stunner because he had to struggle just to actually hit the stunner on him. Which, I mean, Vince McMahon hasn't taken a bump in a long time. So, I mean, it was just a really bad botched Stone Cold stunner on Vince McMahon. So, that was kind of a bummer. But let's face it, we all knew a stunner was coming. It was just badly executed. But we all knew it was coming. But that happened. Stone Cold began to drink some beers and even invited Pat McAfee into the ring to enjoy some beers with him, which that's how it started. And then sure enough, another round of beers and bam, Stone Cold hits Pat McAfee with a Stone Cold stunner. So, Stone Cold Steve Austin just having some more fun out there. He had a lot of fun in night one where he had a match with Kevin Owens, beat Kevin Owens, and then comes out night two, gives 3 more stunners, one for Austin Theory, Vince McMahon, and Pat McAfee, and just continued to celebrate in the ring. So 2 nights of Stone Cold Steve Austin appearances. So gotta love it. Gotta love it. But that was quite a treat. We got Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestling in night one. Vince McMahon wrestling tonight. That's crazy. That's crazy. That oh my goodness. Who would have thought Vince McMahon would have a match at WrestleMania? Wow. But hey, he won. Love him or hate him, he won. So that was that. And then we had the main event, which was the winner takes all title unification match. WWE Champion Brock Lesnar going up against WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns. To be honest, this match really wasn't really that crazy. It was just full of Superman punches and Suplex City German suplexes, spears, an F5, a Kimura, a low blow, a belt strike. I mean, it was just really, yeah. It was pretty much what I expected. I think Roman Reigns hit like 6 or 7 spears and like 4 Superman punches, something like that. Brock hit 5 German suplexes, a F5, and locked in a Kimura. Yeah, just... I'm surprised the Usos didn't interfere. I was kind of thinking the Usos were going to interfere, but it wasn't necessary. But yeah, Brock tried to go up for another F5, had his eyes gouged out, one last spear, 1, 2, 3, and the streak continues. And Roman Reigns is now your new unified WWE champion. So he slays the beast. And the tribal chief still reigns supreme. I was actually kind of shocked. I was thinking Brock Lesnar was gonna pull it off, but because you have to remember, Roman Reigns hasn't been pinned or submitted since December of 2019. December of 2019, more than 2 years ago, y'all. So, well, shoot, 2019. What? That's 3 years ago? Almost 3 years ago. So it's a little over 2 years. But yeah, he hasn't been pinned or submitted, and that streak continues. So, I don't know. If Brock wasn't able to do it, which looking at it now, that means once again, both Royal Rumble winners lost the big match. Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, they lost their matches. So yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of is, and this is a long shot, but it could happen, maybe they may have The Rock return and he ends up being the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. I don't know. Like, if Brock Lesnar couldn't do it, then there's no telling who may dethrone Roman Reigns. But I'm thinking they may do something like maybe The Rock, maybe at SummerSlam, something like that. But I don't think you keep that streak going throughout the rest of the year, though. Roman's got to lose eventually. But I think it's got to be against somebody that's, I don't know, not currently on the roster. I don't know. Like, the only reason why I was thinking The Rock is that's the next big name that I could think of that could return and do it. Maybe Lashley. I don't know, but now I'm really just wondering who is going to be next to challenge Roman Reigns, and not only that, who's going to be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. But with him now being the unified WWE champion, the undisputed WWE champion, it makes me wonder two things. One, how long is that belt going to be that way before it's split again? And two, are they going to do the same thing with the women's main championships, the Raw and SmackDown? Are they going to possibly do the same with that? Remains to be seen. But overall, I have to say that WrestleMania 38 Night 2 was better than Night 1. Definitely better than Night 1. But as a whole, WrestleMania was alright. I'm not going to say it was bad. I'm not going to say it was great. I think it was alright. Overall, I think it was alright. I enjoyed Night 2 a lot more than Night 1. I mean, really, Night 1, the main match that did it for me, Night 1, was the main event. Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens. I really enjoyed that match. And, you know, Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair was alright. I hope Bianca's okay. She had a swollen eye. But that was a pretty decent match. And word is that Ronda Rousey was mad that her match last night didn't end up being the main event. Because, of course, Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens was the main event. And the way I see it, Ronda, like, honestly, you can kick rocks for all I care. I mean, I don't know why you're complaining. You won the freaking Royal Rumble and you got a match at WrestleMania. Why are you complaining? Like, you legit returned and won the Royal Rumble in your return, and you got a match with Charlotte at WrestleMania. Why are you complaining? Like, honestly, I don't like Ronda Rousey. I hope she... Yeah. But Charlotte retained, so, I mean, hey, at least that was alright. I thought Ronda was going to win some way, somehow, but now that I think about it, it's probably a blessing in disguise that Charlotte retained. But yeah. Overall, WrestleMania was alright. This was alright. But there you have it, folks. WrestleMania is in the books. Now, a new season has begun. A fresh start. Starting on Monday. Gonna see what happens. I know we got the debut of Veer to look forward to. I think we could expect Bayley to return. Eventually Asuka to return. Maybe even Lacey Evans. But it'll be interesting to see what returns that we get. And also, what call-ups. If there will be any call-ups. Maybe Tommaso Ciampa. Maybe LA Knight. Maybe Braun Breaker. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens as this new season of WWE begins. Post-WrestleMania. Should be good. But anyway, also wanted to make a quick comment that it was really cool, once again, I think it was such a big deal seeing how good of a sport not only Pat McAfee, you know, doing the deed to Vince McMahon, but also Kevin Owens doing the deed to Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, that's gotta be so surreal. You know what I mean? Kevin Owens having a WrestleMania match, a no-holds-barred match with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, not wrestling in 19 years, and he gets an opportunity to wrestle Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's gotta be surreal. Pat McAfee, same thing. Having a match at WrestleMania. Two matches. Because remember, he beat Austin Theory, and then turning around and having a match with his boss, Vince McMahon. That's got to be huge. That's got to be really huge for him, because Pat McAfee You know, he retired from the NFL at age 29, and he wants to live his dream of being a professional wrestler. And he's already got his foot in the door being a commentator. Had a match on NXT, had a match at two matches at WrestleMania. So I really hope this builds up Pat McAfee to perhaps eventually become a full-time wrestler. Here's hoping. But I just think that's such a surreal moment for both Pat McAfee and Kevin Owens. That's, wow. And you know, now that I think about it, maybe some sort of build-up, maybe that's probably why Kevin Owens decided to resign and stay with the WWE. I mean, think about it. I'm sure he had been told, hey, you re-sign with us, we're going to give you the opportunity to wrestle a legend in the form of Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's a big deal. That's a really big deal. He was probably like, oh, heck yeah, you know? So, just something to think about. That's just my thoughts on that. But anyway, that's pretty much it. What did you guys think of WrestleMania 38 Night 2? What did you think of WrestleMania 38 as a whole? Do you think it was better than last year's WrestleMania? How would you rank it? Good, bad, okay, trash? What did y'all think of WrestleMania? And let me know what you're looking forward to with this new upcoming season. Now that WrestleMania is in the books, what are you looking forward to now? Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any video that I upload. And thank you once again for watching and for all of the love and support. This is Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram signing off for another Pro Wrestling Talk here on the U to the Tube, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. Hope everybody has a blessed week, and I will see y'all very soon. Love y'all. Take care. Peace.